Hi, this is Tatiana King, Exclusive Access. I'm your host, Tatiana King. Well, I just want to start off by saying thank you to all of you viewers who have been supporting this incredible show. We have had so much great feedback, lots of comments, and of course, a lot of views. So thank you so much. Well, of course, on today's episode, I have another incredibly talented guest. This is somebody that I've been working with for a long time, directly and indirectly, the one and only Brenda Foreman. Brenda, I'm so happy to have you. Thank you for being here with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we have come a long way.
Yes, we have.
A really, really long way. I've had the pleasure of working with you, sitting on panels with you.
Yes.
And I'm just so proud of how far we've come.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, it's been a great journey.
Yes, it has. And we have a long way to go still.
And you know what? I gotta admit, when I first met you, I thought that you were African. I really did think you're African. She's not African. Tell the viewers where you're from and why people associate you with being an African woman.
Okay, first of all, before I say anything about that, yes, I am African. We all are.
Okay.
Okay, this is where we originate as a people, and that will be another topic another day. But I am Kittian. I was born on this beautiful island named St. Kitts, Twin Islands, St. Kitts and Nevis. And I moved here when I was very young, so I'm Canadian. But you associate me with being African because I am around so many Africans. My business partners are African and Caribbean. So I blend between both worlds.
Yeah.
And I guess I love the culture, I love the music, and I'm involved in all of it. I love the food. And I find they're so merged, you know, that sometimes I just flow between both worlds.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of people, because I'm around so many African from the continent of Africa, they assume I'm African. And also because of the way I think. You know, from very little, I always thought I was African. I know my history. I know what happened with my people. So knowing us as a people, I represent myself as who I am. I am who I am. And we are, in my mind, we are Africans. Every other race do not differentiate. A Chinese living in Jamaica is still Chinese. An Indian living in the Caribbean is still Indian. Yet we as a people, we say, I'm from the Caribbean, I am American, I am Canadian, but nobody says African. You know, and on both sides I've had debates, but my feelings are my feelings, and I know my history. And I think the young generation starts to understand themselves more. So we, in this case, it's in effort to unite us as a people.
Definitely. And I think that is extremely important. How do you feel about, you know, those people who don't want to connect with Africa, that don't want to see that, yeah, in fact, I am African and that I was shipped to the Caribbean?
Or to the U.S. That in itself is what I call brainwashing. Or I should say brain tainting, because now we have to wash that away from our brain. We have to wash out all of the negative energies and the history or the misinformation that we were fed as children. There's nothing wrong with being prideful, or being proud. I am proud that I am Kittian. I love my island. I have wonderful memories of being a child in St. Kitts, beautiful beaches, the food, my grandma, my great-grandmother, my mother, the strong women in my family, the people around me. We are such loving people. But when you really come to think about it and seeing my experience with Nigerians, for example, or Ghanaian, or Ethiopians, and I see the difference in our foods and our spices and the way we cook, there's so many similarities.
Absolutely.
We've taken a piece out of everything. If you go to Antigua, I notice that their foods are more similar to Ghanaians. If you go to St. Kitts, our foods are similar to Nigerians.
Exactly.
Why? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
You know, some things were brought down and some things are still carried on. Some things we've lost along the way because, again, we are programmed in so many different ways. But when it comes right down to it, We are a people. This is where we originate from. So I don't see a problem with saying I am African. I'm African Kitishan.
Yes.
I'm Kitishan. I'm Kitini Vision.
Right.
I'm a black woman.
Yes.
My children are African beings, human beings. You know, I mean, I think we all originate from Africa. It doesn't matter what race you are.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
So when did you come to Canada? And give me a picture of what that looked like for you coming to this country, this cold country, mind you, and what your experience was like.
When I first came to Canada, it was a huge culture shock. You know, I left a tiny little island. Picture this, a small island where you have all your friends and your family close-knit, and then you come to a country where it's huge. You know, the flight alone was, you know, coming in, and I'm seeing all these lights, and it was amazing because I came in the evening too, so all the lights, and oh my God, I was fascinated.
Yeah.
I wanted to come because I read a lot. I would read 4 or 5 books per week. I was an avid reader.
Wow.
I was only 12 years old though. So my mind was full of excitement, and I wanted to know what was going to happen. When I landed, it was a different story.
Oh boy.
Because first of all, even though I was a very intelligent little child, I wasn't as confident. I was very shy, and I didn't understand the language. We spoke English, but we spoke a strong dialect.
Yeah.
So in school, even though I did science and I was ahead of the kids here, I couldn't understand the teacher speaking the way I speak now. And I find like, I'm actually doing it now. But you know, back home, the teacher would say, listen to me. This is, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm falling behind. I don't understand anything.
Yeah.
Then it got cold.
Oh boy.
Because I got here in August. I started school in September. By November, I thought, oh my God, I want to go home. I can't handle this. And then the snow came. And then I decided, no, I got to go home. I can't do this. And then after a while, I decided to start settling in. I got involved in school. After school programs, I played basketball, you know, because back home I played netball. And then here I played basketball.
Okay.
So it kind of gave me a little bit of a, you know, I started making friends. It became a little bit easier. And then I started, you know, emerging into the culture here.
Yep.
And then I grew, and then high school graduation. I still wasn't very popular because I was very shy again. But I made it through. Went to university, and then friends, and, you know, from here, I'm still here.
So as you're transitioning through, you know, high school and university, what did you want to become? Because what you're describing of this young girl who's shy and what you've become today is very different. So I'm curious to know what you wanted to become professionally.
Well, professionally, I went from wanting to be a nurse to a doctor to a scientist. I studied environmental sciences. I know.
So different.
Completely different.
So different.
Completely different. But I loved fashion. I didn't know I was going to be in the arts at all. I mean, back home, again, a young woman would have to get a career, you know, something where it's valid. Piece of paper that says this is your job and this is what you should be doing. You get paid, you know. And I started it, and I realized I couldn't handle it. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it at all.
Yeah.
And I ended up falling back in fashion. You know, someone scouted me when I was about 17 years old.
Okay.
Walking in a mall saying, oh, you should be a model. And I'm like, no. And things happened. One thing led to another. I ended up modeling. So I ended up in the industry, and then I got a job in a department store as a clerk, you know, sales clerk, part-time in school. Fashion started being my blood. And as I was younger, and even during high school, I helped my friends get ready. I'd always have ideas about, you know, trying outfits and helping them. How'd you do that? Because I would just rip things apart and fix things, and, you know.
So it came naturally.
It came naturally.
But it kept coming up. This is what I'm hearing.
It kept coming back. I push it aside. It kept coming back. I push it aside.
Yeah.
And I end up finding, you know, myself in fashion one way or other. I've worked in almost every level, from, like I say, sales, marketing, buying, modeling, and behind the scenes. I was a model agent at one point, a casting agent.
Wow.
So in every area,
Literally.
you know, I'd be in a position, someplace in a place, and somebody say, "We have a position. You want it?" Sure. Or I'd be looking for a part-time job, and that was a job that came at me that would help me through whatever situation I was going. And then I always end up being in that environment. And then when I realized later on that there is a need for certain things, things just happen authentically, I guess.
What I love about what I'm hearing is that you weren't afraid to try new things, and you weren't afraid to literally
put my feet in there.
Exactly.
Jump into the deep
Because a lot
end.
of people are afraid to try
Yeah.
new things and to wear many hats because they think that they're supposed to be in one lane.
way, yeah.
So, you know, a lot of people seem to think that they have to pick a lane, that if they choose this lane, this is the direction that they must go and they don't have to. So relating this idea to me, you know, when I was starting this show,
Yes.
you know, a lot of people know me for various things, right? For being a radio personality, for being a red carpet host, you know, for being a PR professional, that sort of thing. So now I've decided to add on, you know, the TV host, but this is always what it was supposed to be anyways, right? And I don't feel that I have to pick a lane.
Right.
I can drive down many lanes, just like when we're driving on the highway, the 401 or the 400 here in the GTA. Sometimes you lane change because you have to, because you need to get somewhere. So I kind of want you to talk to me about that lane change and your involvement with African Fashion Week Toronto.
Lane changes. Before African Fashion Week, there was BStyled. BStyled by Brenda Foreman. I started as a stylist out of necessity.
Okay.
Because I was in fashion anyway, and because I was now a single mother who couldn't keep a 9-to-5 job. Because I have young children, I had to find a way to make a living.
Okay.
So I'm doing the same things I'm doing within the same environment, within the same industry, but now I became freelance. You know, so I went and I got certified, internationally certified in the color, psychology of color, and I did color analysis, and I did body and style. I did the whole thing.
Wow.
Image, a whole, yes. So I can work with basically styling your life is what I like to say. Making the best of who you are for my clients, right? And I did that for some time. I had personal clients. I worked on fashion shows, or I worked on photo shoots or video shoots, whatever it took, I worked, as long as it had to do with styling.
Okay.
But then it evolved, you know, because I started meeting different people, different cultures. And I met this young lady, Anita.
Oh, yes.
Right.
I know Anita.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I met Isaac. And then it was just a group of people. But first one day, Anita and I was sitting on this couch in my house, and we were talking about the fashion industry. And we were so angry because there was something on TV. And she said, how come we can't wear this stuff, and how come we can't find this? And these designers are like using our culture and making this money from it. And I'm like, yeah, why is it that? And we started talking about this whole thing. And he's like, you know, African Fashion Week is in South Africa. And blah, blah, blah. And I thought, you know, the whole concept, when we're sitting there talking, before you know it,
Wow.
you know, how it evolves, right?
So you guys created this almost out of frustration on the couch, having a conversation.
Having a conversation.
Wow.
Anita registered this company.
Okay.
And then Isaac came in. And then I came back. And then the group of people came together. Because I was a stylist and they see what I do, you need my skill set.
Yes.
Right? She's an entertainer, she's a speaker, and she's very creative. And Isaac is a manager, you know, a brand manager. And do you see where this is going, right?
I do, yeah.
And then we bring another partner, obviously, who does the PR.
Yes.
Because when you start a business, you cannot afford to go out and hire these people. So you bring your skill sets to the table, and you bring a group of people, and we're all passionate about this.
Yeah.
You know, this is something that was born out of necessity. You know, we realize, me being in the fashion industry, this is a $1 trillion industry. But guess what? We are consumers in this industry.
Yep.
We are not manufacturers. We are not creatives. We are not making any money from this. We are spending money that comes into a community.
Yeah.
Right? So we decided, let's do something about this. You know, we have all of these talent in our community. We have no representation. We try to find a place at their table. So you know what? Let's build our own table. And
I
that's
love
what
that.
happened.
I love that you guys literally, because you know how a lot of times people want to break into an industry, they want to do something, but they don't have the balls to do it. They don't have that oomph to go for it. But you guys all came together in a beautiful collective and created African Fashion Week Toronto, and I think that's
doing it alone
amazing.
is difficult, though.
Yeah.
Even though you may want to do something, it's hard. But when you collaborate with people, you build each other.
Yeah.
And this is what our community should be about. You know, the essence of my being is collaboration. Everything I do involves collaboration.
Yeah.
And this is why we will grow. As a community, as a culture, as a people, we have to collaborate in order to build each other. Once we understand that, we are going to knock the ball out of the park.
I completely agree with you.
You know, so again, that's the transition, you know, from BStyled into African Fashion Week. So now I am the stylist for this company.
Yes.
You know, I help to bring the vision together in terms of styling the photo shoots, helping the models. And because I was a casting agent and because I was also a model and I worked in that industry, I was able to help with scouting. I was able to help with the training. And all of these things that normally you bring people in to do, we all had to have a hand in it. So because I'm a stylist didn't mean that I'm not helping with everything else.
Right.
All our hands are in every area because we have to work together and we have to build together, right?
Yeah.
So, and then creative direction came from that because a creative director is being able to direct a group of creatives,
Yeah.
you know, to get the vision that you want. And you're working with the management, and you're working with developer, and everybody brings something together, and it just comes together eventually.
You know, it has been a phenomenal experience for me watching, you know, you and the team come together and create this incredible brand, because I know for me, my experience with African Fashion Week has always been memorable and so special. You know, one of the years I was nominated in the Best Blogger category when I had my blog, MissGoToGirl.com, and another year I hosted the Student Design Challenge.
Yes.
So I just feel so proud and so happy that you guys have been able to keep this beautiful brand going. People look forward to it. You know, a lot of people love the Ankara and the African print, you know, the Antamat. They don't know where to go. They don't know who the designers are or where they can even buy this fashion. But to have this important platform for designers, for fashion lovers, for people in the African community and people that are not even in the African community, to be able to come to this space and just enjoy and just soak up all the fashion is just amazing. And so I absolutely salute you and the team for doing a great job. And more years to come, right?
Amen.
With that, we have come to the conclusion of part 1. Watch out for part 2. Thanks for watching and sharing. This is Tatiana King, and this is Tatiana King Exclusive Access.